Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light Show with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. It's a pleasure each week to be here with each of you, sharing from my heart and knowing that the co-creation that we commit to together is not only empowering us. Good morning, Charlie, Anita, Margaret. Not only empowering us, but in empowering the world around us as we deepen our relationships within ourselves. And excuse me. And as I appear this morning, the message came through about healing and our participatory part in it, which in this world is sometimes strange to tap into because we've been taught that somebody else has the power of healing for us. And so we continuously look outside of ourselves for healing. Of course, healing takes many different shapes and forms. And so as I talk today, I want you to just keep your minds open to healing as a general statement. And whatever personal healing you need, the message is really about your part in it. And as I speak, it's relative to my own part in my own healing as well. And this is how my talks arise for me, is what I go through personally during the week. And as I start to work with concepts and ideas in myself and find benefit from them, I in turn come here on Friday mornings and share them with you. So I'm not talking from a place of education. I'm not talking from a place of being smarter than or better than anyone. I usually speak from my own heart reference, and the world around me supports me in many ways as I come to you on Friday mornings. So this morning's talk, as I put up in the little notebook up there, is healing can happen anytime. Love is always the medicine. Surrendering to love is the key. And that came from a variety of places, and I'm not really sure where they all came from. However, when I put them together, it just went click, and that aha moment said, that's what I need to talk about today. So as we all know, the world is in a transition, and so is the universe, and so are each of us. And as we do that, there are all kinds of things that are coming up to be looked at that we could consider they're looking for healing. And some things are not going to be healed. They were meant to be exactly what they are. And in that place, we have to find a way to allow them to exist without destroying us. And as I say that, what I'm implying is that we have far more power over our health and our wellness than we have ever thought we did. But part of our survival instinct has kept us in a place where we activate things within our own body unconsciously, unknowingly, and unintentionally that make us susceptible to much illness, much distress, both mental and physical. And it's part of our survival instinct, our survival toolkit. So we're constantly analyzing everything. The human brain is an amazing, I call it the original AI, is an amazing tool. And it is always seeking, searching, organizing, and quantifying everything we experience in life. And we're doing it on two levels, consciously, what's called, I think, consciously and subconsciously. And as we gathered all of this information that comes to us, and there's been studies at how many thoughts you have per minute, per second, whatever, that's really irrelevant. It's what we do with that. And so as I see it in my own mind, it's just like zeros and ones in a computer or flipping a switch, and it's pass or fail. And so when I personalize it, everything that comes to me, all the information, everything that I see about my body, I look at my hands or how I feel or how I'm interacting with somebody, my brain is continually going pass or fail, pass or fail, pass or fail. And that which passes are the things that resonate with us on some level. However, over time, humanity's ability to understand and know what is best for it has been diminished. And so a lot of things we allow to pass are unhealthy, are unfit for our spiritual path, they're not compatible with how we would rather choose to live our lives. And so we live in this conflict. That conflict creates a disturbance in our system that stresses the body. It stresses the physicality of our existence and creates what needs to be healed. So I'm not going to use any terms of how we think of what we need to heal. We all know that right now we're all going through a process of healing. Some will call it ascension, some will call it enlightenment, some will call it many different things. The process is really healing in its simplest and more basic form. We're correcting those pass and fail articles in our brain. And every moment we have that opportunity to choose again when it arises. So first we have to be consciously aware on some level that it's occurring. And that is the beginning step of healing, is to become consciously aware that not only is there something going wrong that's disturbing us, but that we have the power. We have the power to correct it with the assistance of others, but it's up to us to truly commit. The word commitment has been coming up very often in the past couple of weeks for me. Commit to ourselves. What is that? Do we really know what the truth of what ourself is? Are we willing to explore that? Are we willing to seek truth within ourselves? Once we cross that borderline, then how do we do it? So it's a journey for all of us to really dive into ourselves on a deeper level and look at how we have chosen failure and weak systems of living, and then why do we question why we don't feel well, or why are we coming down with, why is the body breaking down and being more susceptible to disease and harmful existence? We have to come to that place of ownership and say, okay, I've done this. I can see now where I've let this happen, and I now choose to do something better, to not choose to be weaker, but choose to be stronger and appear for myself at all levels of my existence. So this process of our physical vehicle becoming weaker and is all part tied to our survival mode, where we go into fight or flight when we go into fear, and which is one of the biggest factors of us for our illness is fear. And the more fear we engage in, the weaker our system becomes, because what it's doing, it's draining all our energy, all our reserve energy, and even the energy that's flowing through in the media, and directing it towards fighting that fear, or resisting that fear, or surrounding that fear, or appealing to that fear. And when that happens, that's where our focus is, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. And in that moment, that beautiful energy of light and love and peace is distracted and used. And we, the divine beings and souls we are, end up, if it happens over a long period of time, to become weaker and less resistant to illness on all levels, physical, emotional, etc. So the real message for me this morning to share with everybody is that it's time now to really dive deeper into ourselves and call back that energy and utilize it to make ourselves well again, to make ourselves whole again. This brought up my favorite, or my not so favorite topic, the law of attraction. And I'm sure I'm sure I'm not the only one who's danced with the law of attraction and had some experiences and not been all in favor of this whole law or of existence and how it's been presented to us. However, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is the fact that when we're weak and when we've focused all our energy on survival or fighting an illness or fighting something, whatever, we now have become an attractor field for what is negative rather than what is positive. And so we somehow get more of the same. And I don't like that idea at all. I really don't. But I witness it many times in my life, and I can laugh because I can say that overall, when I let go and I surrender to being peaceful, quiet, or to my divine higher self, everything seems to flow a little easier. And so what it is that surrender sort of allows the law of attraction to change. And in that moment of shift, we get more of what is in alignment with us rather than what is not in alignment. In essence, what we're doing is choosing on a survival level between success and failure. We will survive or we won't survive. We're not doing this consciously, but this is what the mechanics of it is. And how we define success and failure is really related to how we look at the world and how we look at the world around us. And so each one of us are hanging on to thoughts and ideas of success and failure that are based on things outside of us rather than within us. And once again, as we do that, we shift the attention to the external rather than the internal. Every week I talk about who we are internally. We're these divine beings. We're these beings of the Trinity, my Trinity, I call it. It is a Trinity. It's peace, light, and love. And that's what I'm called to anchor here in this lifetime. The remainder of my life is to anchor peace, light, and love into all living forms. It's not something you can force. It's not something that is visible, is always visible. You don't always get something back to say, oh, that was a success, that was a failure. Because even every time I've judged whether something was a success or failure as to what I was doing in accordance with my divine purpose, I was always shown that the opposite can occur as well. And the thing was to not judge it, just do it. So basically what's happened here for all of us on this planet as humans, experience life as humans, is we have now forgotten that we are souls. Souls I describe as sources of unconditional love that have access to powers beyond our ability to comprehend as humans. We are divine in nature. And this is a shift in conscious awareness where we have to begin to elevate the thinking level of our conscious mind to that part of us that is not visible outside of us, other than it can be mirrored to us from others, but that precious sight of who we are within our hearts, and honoring that in truth, and deciding to not just, well, I'm going to play with it today and then I'm going to put it on the shelf tomorrow, but to live it as best we can every day without beating ourselves up and judging ourselves. Did we succeed or did we fail? This simple judgment of success and failure is a key that keeps us from accessing the healing power that each of us has to not only heal others, but to heal ourselves. We've all met the healer, the person who claims they're the healer, who, when you really look into them deeply, sometimes they're not as well as we are. Yet they can tap into that healing energy and send it on. Some of us would claim that's a little bit distorted. I don't judge it. I believe that the divine soul in all of us can bring that through when we tap into that. But we're not tapping into that in order to live our everyday lives. And this is where the incongruity is that causes illness on all levels in our body. So the next expression I wrote this morning was, the soul only knows truth, honesty and integrity, not success or failure. Healing can happen anytime. Love is always the medicine. Surrendering to love is the key. So now we come up to the word surrender. And surrender is letting go of outcome. Peace is always available. Healing is the result. This act of surrender we talk about can be very, very powerful and at the same time very, very disturbing. Most of what I see in the world is an inability to surrender. We have been trained to defend ourselves. We have been trained that in order to survive, we need to go to war, to go to battle, to attack with an equal or greater amount of force. Everything around us. And as physical beings, that's quite true. I'm not going to deny that. However, we've taken it a bit too far. And in that moment of taking it too far, what we're doing is we're actually struggling within ourselves, and we're fighting ourselves, our highest true divine self that's coming through our hearts, and the conscious self are at war with each other. And so as we shift and change with the energies of the universe, with the influx of divine energy, we keep coming back to this judgment of ourselves. Success or fail. Will I succeed or will I fail? Life and death. How amazing that we have come this far in our journey of evolution. And we are still struggling with this primal impulse. And we have the wisdom and access to that wisdom and that power, which can change the world and life for every being on this planet in a very short period of time. If we are to attract anything in our lives now through the law of attraction, it's that. And the only way is to surrender, to drop into a place of peace within ourselves. Find that peaceful spot somewhere within yourself where you can tune out, or find that peaceful person. And you all probably know one who can hold the space for you. This is what I do. I hold space open for others. The issue I realized this week is I don't always hold space open for myself. And so when I see what I'm attracting, I look and I say, well, how is this happening? And it's because I don't take the time or enough time to surrender to myself, to this divine, beautiful being of peace, light, and love that I am. Yeah, I can come on here and I can talk. I can go into the field and I can be the alchemist and the metaphysician. I can do it for others. But the question was, what about you, Charlie? When are you going to take all of that and add yourself to the glory of surrender? It's what you tell everybody else to do. When are you going to surrender? So that's basically where I came to this morning, as I dealt with the law of attraction. And I just want to read this card, and as I realized what I was attracting somehow. And this is a solar system elsewhere in the universe, and it's the law of attraction. All I ever choose comes to me. If I choose good, good comes to me. If I choose negative, negative comes to me. And why would I choose negative? And if I am choosing negative, how am I doing that? Has been the question. And that's my process of healing. And how we are going to heal is to really dive into ourselves. And so affirmations for that law of attraction are, I am a powerful magnet as well as a magnet. Those are my words, but I carefully choose my thoughts and feelings, and the universe brings me to whatever I desire. Desire is a tricky word. Make the desire be in alignment with the highest self that you're just beginning to get to know. I am the creator of my own reality. There's reality and there's illusion. This out here is illusion. Reality exists within us. I have no limits. There's the key word. I have no limits. Take all the limit switches off. As I said in the beginning, we judge everything and we put it into this duality system, and the conscious mind sorts it and puts it, pass or fail, good or bad, all of those things. And it's really not for us to so much think about mentally, but to surrender to and ponder in our hearts. A couple of minutes left before I leave. A spontaneous healing of belief from Greg Braden. Belief code. I forgot which one I was going to read. 13. Belief is defined as the certainty that comes from accepting what we think is true in our minds, coupled with what we feel is true in our hearts. Counterbalance what you think with your heart. Don't always accept what you think as the final answer. There was some TV show. What's your final answer? Go into your heart. Surrender. Surrender the mind. Surrender the power of what you are operating in this world to the true wisdom of your inner heart and soul, source of unconditional love. And I'm going to leave you with this. and I hope you have a wonderful week thinking about this, thinking about where you might have not honored who you are as the divine being you are, and to drop into your heart, surrender, and ask again, which way should I go? What should I do? And it may contradict what the mind would tell you to do. And in that moment, if there's a contradiction, trust the heart. You may go through some periods of trial and periods of exaggerated uncomfort. But I know that as each of us do this, we're going to clear away the karmic resonance of reoccurrence and relapse, and we're going to live healthier and happier lives, loving and in light and being peaceful to each other. This message from the first book of Israel: God's peace is with you within your own heart center, my beloved. Let it shine forth in its full radiance, like a jewel of perfection, upon all with whom you come in contact each day of your life. Get out there and shine. Get out there and love. Get out there and spread peace. Spread it from your heart, not from your head. I love you. I thank you. And I respect you. And I wish the best, that you attract the best from every source available to you. Blessings. Nice to be here. Nice to shine with you. Hope I made some sense. I know I did on some level for some. And I know I made some for myself. As I say, as I do these talks, they're not just about you. They're just not me pontificating some message. They're my actual walk in life. And we're in this together. And we're going to make it through. Not only make it through, we're going to rise and shine and show not only this world, but other worlds how it's done. Bye-bye.